So, welcome everybody to the Global Music Match Party. I feel very lucky and excited to be here with Kajsa Balto,
Yeah.
uh, a indigenous Sami singer based in Oslo, um, whose music is enchanting and magical and full of wonder, and has a kind of deep grounded rootedness to it, and an incredible band. Like your band is so musical as well, and it's this beautiful weave. Um, so yeah, just excited to get to spend this 20 minutes with you.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should just give a short introduction.
Please.
So I am born and raised in Oslo, which is outside of the traditional Sami region called Sápmi, or some might also know it as Lapland, but that is a term that's considered a bit offensive, or yeah, we don't use it anymore. It's called Sápmi, and the region stretches across Norway, Sweden, Finland, and parts of Russia. And Oslo is south of Sápmi. But even though I grew up here, I was lucky to visit my family often in the north. And my dad, he always spoke Sami to me at home. And I grew up with yoik as part of daily life. And yoik is the traditional form of song in Sápmi. And yeah, so my first album was a result of a musical process based on my own identity, because I feel like I've always had a foot into different cultures. So in my first album, I used both Norwegian and Sami lyrics. And now I just released my second album, and this album is Sami lyrics only, because I wanted to just dig deeper into, family history. And also because the language is threatened, it's important that we use it, and that, yeah, I thought I just had to make an effort. And yeah, this is my little contribution to keeping the language alive, I guess.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Sure. And it's not just me. I mean, it's many Sami languages going through this revival, and it's a lot of people working really hard to get the new generation, to learn and use it in as many settings as possible. So music is just a small part of it.
I'm curious about what the musical life in your house was when you were a child.
Well, my dad he's a really great yoiker, actually. He sings a lot, and he also used yoik as a part of daily life. And also in my family, yoik is a central part of social gatherings. But yeah, and beside that, I started playing piano when I was about 5. So I've listened a lot to classical music. And on my mother's side, she's from the Norwegian mountains in Uppland. And there you have the fiddle tradition, dancing, accordions. So I grew up like in between all of this, and also listening to a lot of just pop radio hit music. And yeah, and also my dad, my uncle, he released a yoik album in the late 70s. So I also grew up with that yoik CD on repeat. And yeah, some of the yoiks on that album I've actually rearranged and included in my own album.
This is so interesting. So what is the tradition of yoik? Like, how old is it? Where does it come from? And just so that the listeners understand, what I'm understanding yoik to be is just the traditional Sami songs. All Sami songs
Yeah.
are yoiks, right?
No, not necessarily, but I guess you can compare yoik to maybe some traditional, chanting of some Native American cultures, maybe, or shamanistic cultures, or yeah, yoik has this spiritual side to it. Like I don't know how old it is, but the Sami people have been here for, I don't know, thousands of years. It's old. It's like this ancient form of vocal use. It's a way that you use your voice that often mimics nature, or yeah. And when like one of the songs on my album is my great grandmother's yoik, and you say that you yoik a person, you don't sing her yoik, but you yoik her. Like the yoik is just so connected to her person or spirit, or yeah. So like when I yoik my great grandmother, even though she died before I was born, I never met her. I feel like I kind of like celebrate her story or something when I yoik her, if that makes sense. So I think it's really special because I'm also able to pass her story on to my children, so they get to know their great great grandmother through her yoik. But yeah, yoik, you can yoik a person, but it can also like reflect an animal, or a place, a mountain, a lake. Yeah.
Now, would you be willing to yoik your great grandmother for us, or is that
Yeah.
too much? Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Her name was Kishte Maret, and the lyrics says, or yeah, it tells us about her being a mother, and that her children were all she had such beautiful sons and beautiful daughters. And being a mom was yeah, she was just that was a big part of her identity, I guess. Yeah, it goes like this. um, Kishte mare agololele lo lo lo, na lo longo yo, na lo lele la yo, and kishte mare is locked to lucha panye, dai lo lele nei, lo, lo, lo. Den kistemmer er slåket og lortja Berni, lo, le, la, lo, nei, lo, lo. Den kistemon, den er go, lo, nei, nei, lo, nei, yongo, no.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bless you. Oh, oh, it's so magical.
Well, well, thanks. It's really interesting that you think or that you find it interesting because I was curious how you guys would, um, what you would think about this because obviously when you don't understand the lyrics or maybe where it comes from,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well,
But maybe, yeah.
well,
Music is just this universal thing anyway, so yeah, everyone can connect.
what what just struck me while you were singing is that it's kind of utterly amazing that we're here. Like,
Yeah,
it's amazing to be alive,
yeah.
and it is literally magical. It's like I get to look at you and hear you sing, and there's raining, and there's trees, and there's a bird that visited, and maybe the only way to really express how magical it is, well, one authentic way is to sing, because that is like to be in the flow, to be in the
Mm,
flow of the magic of being alive.
mm.
So I felt that
Yeah,
while you were singing. Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
yeah. I've also thought about, immortality in a sense. These are big topics or thoughts, but it is a special thing to, even also as a musician when you record stuff, it lives on. And I recorded this yoik, so it's on my album. When I think about this yoik, I just feel like empowered. And I just think about what the people before me went through and how lucky I am to live in this time right now. Also in a time where, Sami culture is, yeah, I guess more accepted or, I just wish that they could see see it happen. Mm.
what would your ancestors say? Or what
I
might they say? What might they say if they saw it happening?
think it would be hard to believe, also because it would be hard for anyone to to understand like modern world, the modern life. It's just so far from how they used to live. The Sami traditional way of life, which was like this. Yeah, they had many or a variety of like livelihoods, but I guess the best known means of the Sami way of life is the nomadic reindeer herding. Um, and today, I don't know, maybe about 10% or something like that is of the Samis today are connected to this reindeer herding still. So most of us just live, quite modern lives. And that's also why it's really special to have this connection. It's really this strange mix of something ancient and something that you just carry, you know, it's just a part of who you are, but at the same time, you're so far from it because you live this busy city life, Um, so I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I think this mix is really interesting, like being indigenous, but also being, or yeah, native modern, yeah, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Thank you for your your English. Like, thanks for.
Yeah, I get to practice my English, which which is good. I need that. So
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that you're bridging like the Sami culture, the Norwegian culture, and then the Anglophone culture in this conversation, right? It's a lot. I guess if there was one more question I could ask you, it would be, um, what does um, what does Sami spirituality have to teach us now?
um, okay, but yeah, it's a difficult. It may be many answers to this because there are many different types of spirituality and religion, and the Sami people are not, you know, unanimous, or the Sami people are just as different as any other people. But what I see is that uh, the Sami tradition or mindset is very uh, on on Mother Nature's side, and especially in these times when we use so much of our natural resources, um, more than we have, and take more than what we need. Um, and the whole climate situation, I guess you can learn a lot from looking into indigenous people and lifestyles. Um, and my last album, På Ella, means everything is alive. And that refers to the ancient belief that all nature, all objects such as plants, animals, rocks, water, possess a soul. And you need to respect all those connections. If you do something somewhere in nature, if you take something from one place, you need to replace or restore it afterwards, because you are not the only one. It's humans are not the only ones. There are also many other forms of life that we need to respect and take care of, because we are depending on them, even though we can't always see, you know.
What I'm hearing is indigenous people can are connected to the natural world in ways that maybe modern people aren't, and those traditions could maybe help reconnect us. Is that kind of right?
um, yeah, I don't want to say that modern people are not connected
Hmm.
to nature, because I think many of us are.
Yeah.
But the traditional lifestyle where you do not take more than what you need from nature,
Thank you. Yeah.
that's, I think, is a like key. In Norway today we have mining. We have wind. They're setting up this wind. um, I don't know the English word, but where you use power, you get power from wind, right?
Yeah. We call them turbines, wind turbines,
Yeah,
or windmills. What do you call them? What's the Norwegian
yeah.
word of it?
Vindmølle, vindkraft,
Okay.
yeah. Mm. And they, when you dig something out of a mine and you pull it into the fjord, the waste, you destroy life in the fjord, fish and everything else that's alive, and we are depending on, that's what we eat. It doesn't make sense. I thought it should be just a logical, you don't put your waste into where you get your food from,
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we need to wake up in time or we're gonna die.
No, but yeah, I don't know. I'm usually not into these political things, but um, I believe that, we only have one planet, so we should try and, care for it.
Thank you for this time with you and for yoiking your great grandmother and
You're
for
welcome.
sharing with us your tradition and your culture. And I feel very lucky to have gotten to explore it with you. And I feel like my community will really enjoy it, and I'll share links to your music so people can get yoked.
Yeah. Aw, thank you. Yeah. And it's really nice to, get to know you as well. And I look forward to your focus week.